the first tick on the index, quiet but positive. So that green hue continues.
The markets have picked up. We have fresh 52-week highs on the Nifty.
For the markets, it's flat but with some positive bias. We have seen a 70-point recovery from the lows.
20 points down now on the Nifty. So very, very quiet. It's been that way from the word go. Third day in a row now, by the way. We're going to end with a 1.5 odd point change on the Nifty. The banks, by the way, did a little better.
Hello and welcome to CNBC-TV18. You're watching Markets Today, the show where we track about 6 hours of the day's trading action in just 5 headlines. I'm Ekta Batra. Here are the top stories for this evening. Indian indices close at record closing highs even as a volatile session ends with marginal gains. The Nifty Bank also hits a record high, but metal stocks come under pressure. Morgan Stanley's Chief Asia and EM equity strategist Jonathan Garner says that Indian financials are positioned positively compared to other Asian markets, as that the Indian market is very expensive compared to other markets. Dalal Street sees 2 big listings. Well-known ethnic snack company Bikaji Foods lists at an 8% premium over its issue price, while Global Health or Medanta, which runs Medanta Hospitals, debuts at a 19% premium over its issue price. Sources say Income Tax Department has conducted searches at Metropolis Pathology Labs office in Mumbai, Delhi and Chennai, accusing the leading diagnostic company of concealing income. Stock nosedives more than 7%. And we'll also put the spotlight on stocks that were in the headlines. Defense stocks HAL, Bharat Dynamics surged in trade today, while Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders traded 1% higher on account of a strong second quarter. All right, well, those are all of the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Let's also tell you what we have lined up and what's in store for you. It's a packed show this evening. In Market Opinion, we have Jonathan Garner of Morgan Stanley and Lawrence Blanco of CLSA. And in Corporate Voices, we have Pankaj Sahni, Group CEO at Global Health, and Sanjeev Singhal, Director Finance of Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders. All right, on to the first story that we are tracking this evening, the first headline this evening. In fact, it was a day which was quite quiet but volatile for the market. So let's get in Prashant Nair, who's going to wrap up today's trading session for us.
An absolutely flat session is what we had on the index, on the Nifty. There was a bit of selling pressure at 230 or so, but that was bought back and the market finally ended unchanged. Banks had a better session. The Bank Nifty, led by private banks mainly, did a little better than the Nifty, but not much. Mid caps and small caps, those parts of the market sold off a little bit more, 0.5%, 0.75% in that range. On the Nifty, the gains were in names like Kotak, HDFC. Coal India reversed some of its losses from yesterday. The cuts came through in Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, Apollo Hospitals and Tata Steel were the other 2 names which lost in trade. Broader markets, more declines than advances. And you had names like Apollo Tyres saw a big move yesterday on the upside, was down today. Metropolis, there was news flow. Paytm was down. You had SAIL, that Steel Authority, Indiabulls Housing, Delta Corp, Aarti Industries and Dredging Corporation, some of the other losers. Gainers in specific pockets. So the rail infra stocks were higher. Names like RVNL, IRFC, IRCON. The defense names like HAL, BDL and Mazagon Dock were higher in trade. And some reversals after, the beatdowns that stocks like Campus Activewear, the footwear company, has seen. TCNS Brands on the back of a potential deal and, a bunch of others as well. All in all, it was kind of mixed day with more declines than advances. 2 new listings today. So Bikaji made its debut, a household name really. Good debut. The stock, although, came off the day's high. Global Health, which runs the Medanta Hospitals, that also listed. But that was stronger and actually moved even higher after what was a very strong listing. The market pace has kind of slowed down. Everyone is waiting for the day when we hit new highs on the Nifty. The Bank Nifty, of course, has been making those every day now. Back to you.
Okay, all right, Prashant, thanks very much for that. Let's get in some expert opinion then. Lawrence Blanco of CLSA believes that the Nifty can go past the 20,000 level by the first quarter of next year. He added that the dollar index could stay under pressure till the second quarter of next year. Listen in.
we saw sentiment extremes into the October lows, as well as a number of market divergences that has led to the current rally that we've seen play out across global markets. And our work that we've done on our cycles into 2023 does suggest that we do overshoot the upside, and we think the S&P can trade above its 200-day moving average. And the Nifty on the back of that should trade to new all-time highs, and we get an upside target closer to the 20,100 area for the Nifty into the first quarter of next year. If we look at the Indian markets through the first half of this year, we found that support around the 15,500 area, and we do think that's shifted up towards the 17,000 to 16,900 area. So that should be a sort of a key floor heading into the first quarter. One of the key setups that we're looking for into 2023 is a more significant top in that dollar index. So in the near term, there is support between 103 and 105. It's basically the 200-day, but also the 2017 and 2020 highs for the dollar index. And at some stage in the second quarter, we do think the dollar does get a rebound, but that rebound forms a lower high, and that's part of the topping pattern that we see for the dollar in 2023. And ultimately, towards the end of 2023, we think the dollar index is trading back towards 95. And that should put the Indian rupee back towards 75 towards year end of 2023.
Okay, well, on to some more opinion then. Ajay Srivastav, CEO, Dimensions Corporate Finance Services, said that it is a good time to take money off the table. He added that new age companies are extremely overvalued at the moment.
My sincere advice to everybody would be, if markets are good high, this is a good time to take money off the table and go spend it on yourself. You know, investing in this market at these prices, valuations, you could be in for a big disappointment compared to many other sectors you want to invest. So if you want to invest, perhaps, I would not recommend equity. You know, strange coming from me, at this point of time, equity investment. Look at a 12-month horizon. You will never make returns to beat the debt returns at this point of time. You'll never make it. So you have two choices. Either you invest now and repent later, sell now, spend it on yourself and feel happy, or put in debt and you'll be a much happier person. It's a tulip mania in a different world altogether. They don't make any money, they lose money, and they still got value. They sell for 200 crores, they make a 200 crore loss. Does it need to be a genius to do that kind of stuff? Man, I tell you, I can find 100 other people who can sell for 200 and make a loss for 200. Ask the airlines, they do it very well, actually. So, I would say just stay away for the time being. These are overhyped, overvalued. They still haven't gone down to Earth. And Earth is still far from them. They're still not there close to it.
Okay, some caution coming in from Ajay Srivastav there, but on to the second headline now. Indian financials are positioned positively compared to the other Asian markets. That's the word coming in from Jonathan Garner, who is the Chief Asia and EM Equity Strategist at Morgan Stanley. In a conversation with CNBC-TV18, Garner also added that the Indian market is very expensive compared to other markets.
Just in terms of household formation, underlying earnings growth dynamics for a young population, Indian financials are clearly differently positioned than, for example, Korea or Taiwan or China financials. We're not focused on financials in those markets where you don't have such positive tailwinds. India is by far the most expensive market in our coverage. In fact, at a record high valuation premium, for example, to Korea, but certainly the valuations are very rich to history and to peers, and that's why it is an underweight for us.
Okay, so that's the word coming in from Jonathan Garner, but let's get to the third headline for this evening then. Global Health, which runs Medanta Hospitals, closed with gains of over 20% after debuting with a 19% premium over its issue price. The IPO, in fact, was subscribed 9.58 times from the 3rd to the 7th of November. Well, let's just take you through a couple of key details with regards to Medanta. Remember that there's a lot of interest in hospital companies. It did list with a premium. The market cap has surged to around 11,000 odd crores versus around over 9,000 odd crores on the upper end of the issue price. Now, numbers from hospital companies continue to be strong in Q2 FY23, the likes of Apollo Hospitals, Fortis, as well as Narayana. So there was enough sentiment on the positive side to support Medanta. Remember, Medanta also comes with quite a strong background or brand name. It is run by cardiac surgeon Dr. Naresh Trihan. It is promoted by him. It's a network of 5 hospitals under the brand Medanta, total of around close to 2,500 beds. They raised around 2,200 crores from the IPO, and it was one of the largest to hit the markets in the past 5 months as well. The company, in fact, raised over 660 odd crores from 52 anchor investors at 336 rupees per share. The total subscription, like I mentioned, was around 9.58 times totally. QIB was strong at around 28.64 times. Now, overall, remember that when Medanta hit the markets, it did come with a bit of a discount already. So there was a valuation gap, and hence it probably bridged it today with the surge that we saw. So Medanta came in at around 18 to 19 times at the upper band. The likes of Apollo was already at over 20 times, along with the likes of Narayana, as well as Max. So there was some amount of bridging, considering that it does come with a strong name as well as margins. Now, Medanta has said a couple of key takeaways is that they have 5 hospitals operational, 6th hospital is under construction. The number of beds will eventually scale up to 3,500 by FY25. Mature hospitals have around 65% occupancy, and they're looking to bring in additional services such as radiation, etc. And they expect the international patient count to be higher than pre-COVID levels eventually as well. That's one of the big kickers within the entire hospital space. In fact, we did speak to the management earlier in the day. Let's listen in to what the management of Medanta had to say to us.
We are currently at approximately 2,500 beds across the network, across the 5 hospitals that I mentioned. That's in Gurgaon, in Lucknow, in Patna, Ranchi and Indore. And these beds will scale up to about 3,500 by financial year 25. The bulk of that incremental capacity will come in Lucknow, which is currently operating at about 500 beds, and that will scale up to about 1,000 beds, 950 to 1,000 beds.
Okay, well, sticking with today's big IPO is well-known ethnic snack company Bikaji Foods, also listed at an 8% premium over its issue price of around 300 rupees. Manglam Malu is here with the details.
Well, the bhujia is spicy, it is crispy, it is tasty, but it is also expensive because it was offered at a premium to other peers, and at the same time, with the 10% uptick that we've seen in the stock price, the market cap has crossed almost $1 billion. It appears to have gotten even more expensive. We spoke to the management today about the triggers for the company going forward. They said that in the second half there would be double-digit margin as against 7% what they did in FY22, and they are targeting 2,000 crore revenue in FY23. Why just FY23? Going forward, they believe that revenues can grow between 20 to 25%, and they don't need any capex all the way up until FY25-26, where they get to 4,000 crores in terms of revenue. In fact, they also spelled out that for FY24, if they do about 2,500 crores of revenue, 250 crores of EBITDA, it would translate into 120 to 130 crores of profitability. So using those numbers itself, if you calculate, the stock is currently trading at 63 to 64 times FY24 price to earnings. Where do the other peers trade? We have DFM Foods, which is trading at 40 times, hasn't done anything for the last 5 years. Pratap Snacks, below its issue price of over 930 odd rupees, currently trading at 35 times 1 year forward earnings as well. And why just these two? A lot of the large food snacking companies, FMCG companies, if you compare it with Nestle and Britannia, which have higher metrics as well, Britannia is trading at a discount to Bikaji, whereas Nestle at 65 times, just the same rate at which Bikaji is trading.
Okay, all right, Manglam. Thanks very much for that. Meanwhile, Rishabh Jain, the CFO at Bikaji Foods International, told CNBC-TV18 it is looking at a growth of 20 to 25% going forward. It expects 17 to 20% increase in the market share in specific segments as well.
In last 3-4 years, we're growing at 20-22% CAGR, and it's a big industry. So this industry is close to 1.5 lakh crore of markets, and we are just a 600 crore rupees. We're done, and it's a strong growth prospect which we looks in the coming decade, and it's a big industry, and we done expansion across all part of India. So basically, 240-250 crore of EBITDA will have close, 240-250 crore EBITDA will have close to 130-140 crore of PAT, because the depreciation close to 40-45 crore. That's it. Currently, our core market is giving close to 72% of our business, and जो focus market are giving close to 17-18% of our business. So yeah, of course, so focus is always growing at 1.5 to 2 times of core market. So in next 3-4 years, it will this 17-18% we'll target to grow this to 20-23%.
Okay, so that's the management of Bikaji Foods' new debut on our markets. Time for a break now, but stay tuned. We'll be back in a jiffy with all of the top stories that we're tracking.